Hello, grandkids. It's Mema with Stories with Mema. Do you remember not too long ago I did a unboxing? And out of that unboxing, one of the things that we got was a fun book. And this is a Lola Lil Pup, an original story by J.R. Lanston, who I've been messaging a little bit back and forth, so they're becoming my friends. So these authors here, J.R. Lanston, and it's called The Adventures of Lola Lil Pup. And I want you to see that. That little puppy looks like my Auntie Karen's puppy. Lola Lil Pup. Now the beginning part doesn't have any pictures for you yet. Once there was a pup who didn't have a home. Her flowing fur would bounce and sway as she would play and roam. In the fall leaves, she would play and bark nearly every day at the city's leaf-covered park. Oh, look at that picture. Isn't that the cutest? Ah! As much as she liked to play with the fallen leaves all day, when the night would come, she had nowhere to stay. One night spent under a bench at the park near a bright street light, but all night long she was kept awake by the sounds of a big cat fight. Oh, poor thing. The next night she decided to sleep under a tall oak tree, but the one she picked was the home to a family of bees. This pup's fur had started to get dirty and ragged. Her paws were getting cut on the rocks that were jagged. Doesn't it make you want to just hold her in your arms? Then one day she saw another pup almost her size, with shorter fur, a bandana, and a look that was wise. While she was playing with a leaf flying across the ground, she ran full speed and crashed into her with a playful bound. They ran and played for hours, it seemed. She had more fun than she could ever have dreamed. Then, as the sun started to dip low in the sky, the little boy pup got in a car and said goodbye. Lola spent all night missing her new friend. She was restless, waiting for the night to end. Then with the morning light, a car pulled into the park. Out the side door he came running with a bark. Then from the other side out jumped a little girl, pink ribbons in her hair. Lola wasn't sure if she was something good or some bad nightmare. Fear of the little girl made Lola back away and hide, only to be coaxed out of hiding with chicken that had been fried. The little girl with pink ribbons in her hair petted her fur. Then she moved too fast and Lola was gone like a blur. Lola hid in the bushes, afraid to come out. The little girl was calling, but trying not to shout. Finally, the sun started to set in the west. The little girl thought she should go home. That would be best. Oh, Lola was scared, huh? This little dance went on for a month and a day, until one day the little girl, for some reason, didn't come to play. But in her place, some tall, bald man strode, walking from the car parked up on the road. Some pretty pictures. The man sat on the bench, watched and waited, it seemed. Lola, or could this be Lola's person, the one of whom she had dreamed? Slow but sure, she inched ever closer to the man, seeing if he had brought that chicken of which she was such a fan. To her delight, chicken he had aplenty. So many pieces she ate, she lost count near 20. She was feeling full and we're ready to take a nap. Lola was still weary, sitting on the man's lap. But she could have a quick nap. That would be fine, she thought. But when she woke up, she found herself caught. That's the man who brought her some chicken. She was in a cage as they bounced down the street. She struggled to get out, scratching it with her feet. Then she noticed the pup with the fur that was short, clean, and brown, sitting next to her cage, licking her face, trying to stop her frown. Her friend, huh? Lola's friend. Then the car stopped and the door opened wide. There was no place in this cage for Lola to hide. Lola and the cage picked up like a leaf in the wind, on the wind. She was unsure where this trip would end. Then a rope went around her neck, quick as thunder, pulled her into a pool of warm, soapy water, but she didn't go under. Then the tall, bald man was wetting her down. Lola was in such fear that she was sure she would drown. But the tall, bald man patted her head and gave her a squeeze. She had no idea why, but that made her quite pleased. She was being soaped up and washed with a very gentle hand. It was only then she knew he was a very nice man. Then came the rinse and brush thereafter. Above all this noise, she could hear some faint laughter. Then the tall, bald man put purple ribbons in her fur. That is when little Lola was reminded of her. Aww. Aww. The little girl with pink ribbons in her hair. She was in the next room with her pup, and they made quite a pair. But now Lola's curls were no longer a tangled mess, and she had purple ribbons that matched the little girl's dress. Look at how nice and clean she looks, and so pretty with her purple ribbon. She sat in the corner watching the other two play. She wasn't sure what had happened to her that day. She went from being free in a park but always alone to being brought back to someone else's home. Then the little girl sat next to Lola and stroked her curly hair. It wasn't long till Lola no longer had a care. Could she finally have a place that she could call home? Was she in a place she would never need to roam? She had the love of the little girl, and it had been a long day. That was the very minute Lola decided that she was going to stay. Lola woke up and the little girl was there still. From that day on, Lola would live in a house on top of a hill. This place was huge with a garden, a pool, and a greenhouse with a dome. But much more important, Lola found her forever home. Until next time. Isn't that a lovely story? I am so glad Lola found a home. It's awful to be all by yourself, all alone. Yes. Oh, me mom made a rhyme. All right, grandkids, I love you. A bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck. I'll read you later.